So here we are on the GBPUSD charts, and during the early hours of during the trading hours during our live session yesterday, the first thing we acknowledged here was our key level. Don't worry if you don't know how we got to this point. I will show you in a moment when we scale up into the 4 hours time frame. So remain patient. I will be sharing with you how we got to this point. So here we are. So we had this key level identified at the 1.25900 level, and this was the basis for this was the structure that we're supposed to be using to guide our trading activity. And you know how we use our key levels in this community. If price action remains below our key level, we want to be looking out for patterns that will support a bearish momentum. And if price action breaks out of our key level, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will be supporting buying opportunities. And if you look at the structure here on the GBPUSD, you will realize that price action has been trading most of the time below that key level to emphasize the strength of the sellers at this juncture in the market. And in addition to the key level we identified here yesterday, we also identified a flat channel where price action was initially ranging in between, that is the 1.25850 level and the 1.25650 area. And you know how we do it whenever we have this kind of simple flat channel. We want to wait patiently for structures to mature, giving us a signal either in the form of a breakout of the resistance line for buying opportunity or the breakdown of the support line for selling opportunities. And during our live session yesterday, we were actually above this key level, and I told those who took advantage of this buy position that they should all move their stop losses to entry point. And I also made mention here that we are going to be using this trend line to guide our trading activity, that if price remains above the trend line, we feel comfortable in our buy position, and if price action breaks down the trend line, we are going to be looking out for selling opportunities. And what we saw here prior to the New York session yesterday was the breakdown of that trend line. And to help us spot an opportunity to join a bearish move yesterday, we scaled down into the 50 minutes time frame, where we identified a simple setup that we said we were going to be using to guide that bearish momentum to the downside. And this was what we were able to come up with yesterday. We came up with the 1.25800 level, as you can see here, the pink line on your screen, and we said the breakdown retest of this level will have also broken down and retested this trend line to trigger our sell stop order for a sell position. And as you can see, we saw how price action broke down, retest that area below the 1.25800 area to trigger our sell position for the week. And we were fortunate to be part of the bearish move to the downside, as we saw the first sell position move over 90 pips in our favor. And remember, we also identified the 1.25650, which happens to be the support line for the week. And if you look at that one too, that also moved about 70 pips in profit. Then we also added another position at the breakdown of the 1.254. I think that was on our 1 hour time frame, where we spotted this 1.254 area. And if you had joined that move too as well, you would have scooped over 50 pips on that one too. So it was quite a profitable start for the GBPUSD pair for us in this community this week, as we were able to scoop over 150 pips with 3 positions running, maximizing the potential of that bearish move. So for those who took advantage of this bearish opportunity, well done to you for being on standby to catch that move. So right now that we are heading into the New York session today, what is going to be our plans as we prepare for the New York session? Well, first of all, I would like to share with you the ideas we saw on the 4 hours time frame, which buttresses the structures we were able to come up with on the 1 hour time frame. And for the sake of those who are not part of the live session yesterday, this is an avenue for you to also be on the same page with us here. So during our live session yesterday, this was what we saw on the 4 hours time frame, where we identified a simple ascending channel to emphasize the level of buying power in this market. So when we connected a series of higher highs and higher lows, we had this bearish trend, this ascending channel figured out. As you can see, price action has consistently respected it. Then we saw our price culminated at the 1.25900 level last week, and we saw that as soon as price action got into this area during the course of last week's trading session, we begin to see sell pressure resume around that area. And one thing we agreed here yesterday is that depending on how price action reacts to this level will determine what our next line of action will be. And as a result of this, we identified that level as our key level for the week, and we said selling pressure below that level will be welcoming selling opportunities, while a breakout of the zone will be welcoming buying opportunities in this market. And as you can see, we saw rejection of that area to the downside, breaking down the trend line we identified to push price to the downside. So at this point in time, the next question we want to be asking here is that this impulsive move that we saw during the New York session yesterday, will this turn out to be a signal that we are going bearish, where the bullish momentum we saw here is likely going to be a retracement of that impulsive move to incite a bearish momentum to the downside into the support line, or even break down the support line of the ascending channel? Or are we going to be having a situation where price will still break out of the 1.259 to incite another wave of bullish momentum to the upside? So in order to identify this, in order to decipher what is going on here, we want to scale back down into the 1 hour time frame to look out for structures that we can use to guide our trading activity today. So scaling down into the 1 hour time frame, this is what we are going to be using to guide our moves. Remember, we had a flat channel where price action was ranging at the beginning of the week between the 1.25850 and the 1.25650 level to give us an indecisive phase before we saw the breakdown of the support line happen here during the early hours of the New York session yesterday. Now, from a technical standpoint, when price action breaks down a key significant level like this, just like what we saw here yesterday, there is always a technical expectation that price action is likely going to come back and retest that zone to incite another wave of bearish momentum. And with the look of things right now, price action is back into that zone that was broken yesterday, and in the last 3 to 4 hours we have been seeing sharp rejection of that zone. If you look at the nature of the wick of that candles, you will see that we have been noticing some sharp rejection around that area, giving us a clue that sellers are still present in this particular zone in this market. So will this turn out to be a trend continuation to the downside, where we are going to be seeing selling pressure to push price to the downside? Well, what we are going to be doing now is to try to see or monitor how price action will be reacting to the 1.25650 level to determine what our next line of action will be. So in that regard, I scaled down into a much more lower time frame, like the 15 minutes time frame, to see how price action has been reacting to that zone, and as well look out for patterns that will support the idea of a bearish momentum. So at this point in time, when I scaled down into the 15 minutes time frame, this was what I was able to see. You can see that there is a whole lot of consolidation phase going around that area, which gives us a clue into the level of indecision in this market. And whenever we see this kind of structures, it's a clear sign that participants in the market are looking forward to a catalyst that will help drive price movement before jumping into any position here. And considering the fact that we are looking forward to an high impact event today, that is the consumer price index, which will be a significant factor in determining if there's going to be a rate hike tomorrow or not, it is quite reasonable that we are seeing this kind of structure around this area. So with this kind of situation here, the next thing we want to do, we want to mark these structures out. So we have a resistant level for the structure situated at around the 1.25770. So let's label this area 1.25770. So let's place this at the top right hand side of our screen, and then we have a support line around this area. So you can see that price action has transitioned into a flat channel around that area. So there are two ways that we are going to be looking out for trading opportunities around this area. You obviously know how we do it. Whenever we have price action caught within a flat channel like this, we want to wait patiently for structures to mature into a signal that will either come in the form of either a breakout of the resistant line at a 1.25770 to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown of the support line here at a 1.25540 level to give us an opportunity to sell. So this is what we shall be looking out for during the New York session today. So let's be on standby to catch any of this opportunity. So to catch this now, I want to be having a buy stop order above the 1.2570 level to capture this bullish momentum to the upside. And if price action drops below the 1.2554, I want to have a sell stop order below this area to capture this move. So it is quite reasonable that we wait for price action to either break out of the resistance line or breakdown of the support line to be part of any trading opportunity. So let's be on standby to catch any of this opportunity. Let's wait patiently for structures to mature at this point. So these are my views here on the GBPUSD for today. So let's mark these levels out on our chart. And if you want to screenshot my screen so that you can use them as a reference point when you're about to make your independent decision on this instrument. Now, if a breakout of the 1.25770 level happens, you want to be having your stop loss sitting somewhere around this area below the 1.25650, which will be dovetailing to about 15 to 20 pips thereabout. And if price action goes on to further break out of the 1.259, we want to be adding more buy position to our existing trade. But if price action breaks down the 1.25540 level, we want to be adding more position at the breakout of the 1.2540 level to maximize the potential of this bearish move. So let's be on standby to catch any of this opportunity. I hope I made myself clear. And it's on this note I want to call it a day here on the XTrend Speed live session. It has been a wonderful moment with you guys today. And for those who are joining us for the first time, I hope you are able to gain one or two things from what we were able to talk about today. And trust me, the more time you spend with us, the easier it becomes for you to use the information you have gathered here to make an independent decision on your own account. So I look forward to seeing you same time tomorrow, 10 a.m. UTC, 11 a.m. West African time, as we come here again to review how well the instrument we have been monitoring so far this week has been doing, and at the same time get ready for the New York session, which is going to be jam-packed with a whole lot of volatility tomorrow because of the interest rate decision coming up tomorrow. And so I wish you best of luck during the New York session today. Please remember, if you still have a position running, kindly move all stop losses to secure your current position as we head towards the major event coming up in about an hour from now. That is the CPI data. And let's also position ourselves in such a way that we can catch any potential opportunities by having the necessary orders placed at the right levels to capture any potential move. So do have a wonderful evening, everyone. And I hope to see you tomorrow as usual. Bye-bye.